Painting 560. This lesson is how to get 5 models painted in less than an hour of actual painting time. It's a process of building your forces quickly and still have them looking good on a table. So the objective for this lesson is to paint 5 models uniformly to table quality standards with a minimum of time spent. Table quality means fully colored and looking good at arm's length. To that end, I'm going to use 3 steps: dry brushing, lining, and dipping. I'll show you how to do these efficiently using an assembly line style of painting, and at the end of the lesson you should be able to replicate the process on models of your own. First and foremost, you have to select the models you wish to paint. Generally, these techniques work better with models that do not have a lot of detail, and plastic models tend to be better in that department. I've chosen these orc models and have primed them black to aid in the shading of the models. The main technique we will be using for these models is called dry brushing. Dry brushing is a method of painting that uses very little paint and creates an instant level of depth on the model by building up colors in stages. It is a quick and easy way to get a shaded look without all the hassle. Simply dip your brush in the paint and then wipe off most of the paint on the paper towel. This may seem wasteful, but as you will see, you can return to that wipe zone to reload the brush again. The difference in the amount of paint from dry brushing and lining, which we will do later, is substantial. We will start by doing skin tone with a basic green color. So we dip, wipe off, and then we begin the motion. Dry brushing is really about keeping the brush moving at a steady speed and steady pressure on the model. As the brush touches the model, the raised parts of the model grab more of the paint from the brush, leaving the darker coloring in the recesses. You can see the base color showing on the model. Along with the black primer, we already have some depth on the skin tones. The first layer is done with fairly heavy pressure, but quick strokes. I'll repeat it on the other models in the group now. This is known as assembly line painting, one stage done at a time for multiple models. The benefit is twofold. More models get completed, and your fine motor skills will remember how it was done and duplicate the process. It is notable that the last model in the group is often the best looking. We will repeat this process with a second lighter shade of green to get a higher level of color. In each area, you should do 2 separate layers of color, lightening up the pressure so that less paint is transferred with the lighter color. This adds to the perception of depth. Do this for all areas of a model, including clothing, accessories, weapons and armor. Lining is used for detail work. This generally takes a bit more time as it is precision painting. To do this, you need a brush with a strong point on it, like this one. Simple lines are easy to draw or paint on paper. On a model, the space to work with is much smaller, so it is a bit more nerve-wracking. Short brush strokes tend to work best as they offer the best control. We'll start with faces. The goal of a good quick face is to highlight the areas that would catch light. These would be the brow, the crest of the nose, the cheekbones, and the point of the chin. On these orcs, the upper lips and ears are also good places to line. Use a slightly lighter shade than the lighter shade from the dry brushing stage and paint short lines in those areas. Eyes should be a thin line of white with a small dab of black to show the pupil. Be sure to use a brush with a very fine tip and keep the lines small. Now go back and look at the other areas you've painted. Line the tops of fabric creases, straps, belts, and accessories in the same way. And go back over the flesh tone areas like knuckles and fingertips as well. Hit the edges with a lighter shade to make them pop out. Remember, only the areas that would likely catch light. This could be the edge of the quivers, or the center of the straps on the back of the vests of these orcs. Keep in mind that these lines should not totally cover the previous tone, as you want that shadow effect to show depth. Let this dry. The dip is a final sealing and shading process that is all about dunking a model and having the final shading done for you. So let's do that. I use Army Painter's Quick Shade Strong Coat, though there are other brands out there. Most of them are oil-based, so I do recommend using latex or nylon gloves to protect your hands. So grab the model and place it into the container of dip. Let the initial excess drip off, and then shake it off. It's really that easy. Let it dry overnight, and you have a completed model. Here's what they look like the next day. It's a really solid look, and it was done with a minimum of effort. By repeating this process, you can get your models painted quickly and still have them look good on the tabletop.